Welcome back to my $10 to $1,000 challenge. I got a 2-round C-Tier today. Today we're playing another event. I haven't played an event in like 3 weeks. Been traveling a lot, but this is a 2-round event posted by Armory at the woods of Trinity. And let's get after it today. It is time. We're gonna get started on hole 2 for the tournament. It's 486-foot hole. Goes to the left and to the right, but it doesn't matter if you hit the first tree. Talk about a great start to the round. Ended up getting up here with a circle 2 look to save par, which if you hit early in there, you don't have any chance really to get that birdie. So par was the best we could do. That would have really hurt to start off with a bogey on that par 4. Next up, we have a 312-foot hole. It's really just a tight tunnel. You push through, and it was extremely slippery and muddy out there. It had just rained that morning, so conditions were not great. Actually, shout out to my wife. She was dropping the kids off at my parents and brought me some shoes mid-round I could switch out to because I was slipping all over the tee box to start. Another kind of tough tester to save a par here, but we move on to, it's about a 400-foot hole here. You kind of got to get lucky through some of these if you ask Catcher and Mickey, right guys? But sometimes I just find myself sneaking my way through there. A lot of trees to miss and give myself a look for circle 2. Didn't end up connecting on that one. Was kind of feeling left all day. And this, I just cannot get off the tee here. I mean, one failed run up and then straight into a tree. I was trying to push that right-hand side. It's so tight. This tunnel is so tight. Absolutely got punished. I was probably 350 out from here. All I had was a hope and a prayer here with the Sexton Firebird. Throwing it up there on a lot of Annie. I know that disc pretty well now, and it actually flexes out perfectly at the end for one of the best shots of the tournament for me to get that birdie. That was absolutely huge because I was like, okay, I could be going over par here. Was able to get that birdie, and then you got the over the water shot. The wind was really tricky today. It felt like a little like left to right tailwind. The water showed it. This flag showed it too. I think for round 2 it had switched a little bit, but was able to get the right wind read, give myself a chance to get this birdie. That one feels good, right? You know, you're not missing left or right on that putt, and you nail it to get to 2 under. It's about a 300-foot. I don't know how it's 300 feet. This has got to be like more like 250, 260 max. Skipped that Luna perfectly up there. Parked it for another birdie. 3 in a row. So feeling a lot better heading into a tough par 5 that didn't get off the tee well. I'm not going to show every shot, but this one I was getting really aggressive trying to take this inside gap, and I was aiming for that tree with Annie, and I just barely nailed it on the left-hand side, which left me with a very awkward sloped shot. I was trying to make sure I wouldn't throw this on a hyzer line, and I did. No matter how many times I was focusing on this, that went OB, ended up taking a bogey. So first bogey of the round, ended up not getting off the tee well there. Cool squash bag, by the way, Joseph. That's pretty cool with all the blue. And this is one of the hardest holes out there. To get a 3 on this one would be insane. Good drive off the tee, good Luna shot, and had this circle 2 putt that it's elevated. If you miss this thing can be going pretty far away. But just a little Annie step putt. We got it. That one felt so good. Actually, some people had seen that video of me with the thumbnail, and I was going to get up there and get it from there. Couldn't do it. That was actually kind of funny. And then this is such a fun tee shot going off the tee with my Halo Wraith. A little hyzer flip, drifting to the right a little bit. I just didn't get enough air under it, unfortunately. And the mount I was using flipped over. I missed the recording. Hi.
I thought you meant to do it.
No. It went that way. Splitting those 2 trees, just wanted to lay up with the Berg and take a nice, easy tap-in birdie. That gets me to 4 under. I mean, look, we're feeling good right here. There was no Mando in play, so we could actually go around the right-hand side through my swirly S-Line PD2. And it pushed all the way through, which actually got me into the green. Just incredibly good spot to be. And this is just a lack of commitment on this putt. It came out wobbly, which doesn't happen too often. It rolled down into this muddy, soupy water, and we 3-putted. This is the first time I've 3-putted in a very long time. Forgot what that felt like. and it did not feel good at all. So we're going off the tee. Another one, you definitely have a good birdie chance here. It's probably like 230 maybe down this tunnel. Very tight tunnel, and again, like a lack of commitment on some of these putts. Left side low. Got to fix that for round 2. I don't know, I was kind of feeling some pressure. Was the highest rated player in this tournament, and that's not something that I was expecting. So I was like, all right, I need to honestly pick up some birdies. We need to start actually playing like we are the highest rated player at this event. And was able to at least like save my par here. That's a tough one. And then this one's ugly. This one was real ugly. I threw it straight into the ground. No excuses, but I followed it up by parking the 380 something foot hole with the PD2. So that got me back down actually to 3 under at that point. And 2 really tough par 3s coming up. This is a 475 foot shot. A little bit of a headwind, actually held it over, went past the basket, and left myself with this circle 2 bid that we hit off the top. You know, it's hitting a lot of metal all week from circle 2. And this is a 400 foot shot over the water to the right through the swirly PD2. And it came down and just absolutely stuck in, no skip. But, you know, it's the hillside. It's not going to do much here. And like I was just saying, a lot of off the band, but if you're going to miss somewhere, miss high. Don't miss off the cage, because you at least give yourself a look. Also, a nice throw. Landed perfectly in the bag. And then our last hole here, it's the par 4. It's the fun one. I'm going at it with a Halo Wraith, but all those leaves just took the momentum off that disc and ended up leaving myself in the middle of the fairway. Just, you know, no problem at all there. Just a little berg shot. A little short, a little right. But, you know, missing with the berg is pretty rare for me. Just have a little tap in left to get to a 4 under 983 rated round. Okay, so we just wrapped up round 1. We're about to tee off for round 2. Trying 983, which is not too bad. And it felt a little worse, to be honest. But a lot of people know me out here now. A lot of you guys have seen my videos, so it's a little bit weird still, being like, what in the world? Why are there people who know me? But that is what it is. But we're gonna have fun. Round 2, we're gonna go chase down the leader here. So Ryan Ridley, this is our leader at 7 under. He went off the tee with more of a layup shot. I was not. I was going for it here with that Star Destroyer, flippier disc than I threw the first round. And it pushed up all the way over to the right. It's extremely flippy, but it still gave me this eagle look, but just in front of the cage left. So ended up picking up 1 right there. And then I corrected my tee shot. We didn't hit that dumb tree, and I got really aggressive. I knew I was a couple strokes behind, and I was like, let's just absolutely go for this. Hit the perfect line, skipped all the way over to the basket. I was playing with Keegan, Ryan Barham, Eric as well. Keegan with a nice putt there as well to pick up his 3. This is what we had to start off the round to get the birdie. So again, awesome start to that round compared to the first time I played through. And we ended up getting all the way through. Was listening for the trees, you never know, but we actually parked that with that flat top Firebird. So that one was really, really good to pick up. Put me down to 6 under. This is actually our 3rd hole. So actually, sorry, 7 under. Went with the flame scorch off the tee here. Just got to hit that middle gap, and I left myself with a putt. Got to pin high, but off of the cage. You know, no harm done there. You know, still at 7 under, actually 1 back at this point. So starting off with 3 birdies in a row, put the pressure on for sure. I just could not get off this tee. I don't know what it was.
Starbucks.
Anyways, Ryan's got this crazy forehand, so much power. I don't understand how he generates all that power, but he can absolutely smash a forehand. I ended up just taking a par off that one, which is good from where I ended up hitting like the first available. And then I was 1 of 3, actually. Me, Keegan, and Ryan all went OB. And I was so close to the edge there. I don't know what happened with the wind. Actually, I did call it. The wind had flipped a little bit, so it's a little bit sneaky, but just like a 5-mile-an-hour change in the wind can definitely be a ton to the disc. Ended up just throwing that to pretty much lay up with the berg. Got the par. Ended up kicking off the tree. Not a very good tee shot there, but I actually was tied at this point. We were both 6 under. Eric was 5 under. Those going into the water didn't help. I went with a Sexton Firebird off the tee there. I had to pull this one in here. Ryan absolutely almost
my gosh.
threw it straight into the basket. That would have been honestly pretty funny, but he did a good job missing it. And then I tried to do something. I kind of like a weird run up and lie. Ended up going straight into the bushes, but it's a par 5. And luckily, we executed this little standstill Luna shot,
Drop straight down.
which
Oh,
doesn't
great shot,
happen
dude.
very often with
Great
those
shot.
types of shots. It left me with a, 24-ish foot putt for birdie, which we picked up. This one I didn't record, by the way, the first round. I absolutely blew up the chains here
Please.
and just went under the basket.
Oh,
Absolutely
dude.
love throwing that bird. But really now it's down to, Ryan, myself, and Eric. We're both 7 under. Eric's at 3 under, and this is a pretty big game-changing hole here. Actually, Ryan was going with a forehand roller off the tee, which is actually a pretty good play. It almost flipped up all the way over for him. It's just so tough. Even with good shots like I had, I just kind of left myself with an awkward run-up. Didn't execute that second shot, but went 4-claw there to get down to get the putt to save par. And again, 3 is awesome. 4 is still a really good score there. And then off this tee, this is that massive 1,000-foot hole. Had a really, really good tee shot. I missed it, unfortunately, and ended up just ripping my halo to short as far as I could, as hard as I could, and ended up getting stuck inside that tree. So I thought at this point I was actually out of bounds, but there was a ton of room, and I had this funky little like 240-foot shot where I didn't really have anything. I couldn't get a backhand over, so I had to go to the forehand with a flat top Firebird. Ended up just putting us on a ton of ante, and I had kind of slipped, and I was really, really concerned that might not make it and stay in bounds, but it was a great spot. Well executed. I don't really get messed up with like people or kids or anything walking around. You kind of saw me look at it. I was like, I'm not going to get affected by that. We're going to pick up that birdie. That actually put us up by 2 at this point, so it's really up to, me and Ryan. Went back to that PD2 off the tee. It's a 400-something foot hole, but I learned my lesson after the first time going through. Actually, Ryan made a crazy putt, and I just kind of laid up there, hit the pole, and just didn't want to take another 4. It's kind of a mental game issue, personally. And I love hitting this gap. Absolutely love this hole, but I'm not loving my putts in this hole. Again, a miss, just to cut maybe an inch too low there, and that one, didn't feel good. Ryan actually took a bogey on that one, so I had a 2-stroke lead. Didn't really get the best film on this one, but threw the hex to just outside circle 2 on a tough shot, and then stepped up. Ended up having a 3-stroke lead at this point. I just wanted to play a safe forehand up there, not try to get all the way up there, but just put myself with a good look. I was close to the pin and just did not. That was a bad putt, guys. I don't want to talk about it. There's a mental problem, when it comes to putting. I knew where I was at. I knew I was 3 up. And even this one, I couldn't get the voice inside my head to just shut up. I was like, hey, stop. I know that if I make this putt, it's over. Yeah, well, I didn't. Ryan did pick up the birdie. I picked up the par. And, closing out tournaments, it's not the easiest thing in the world. This is a pretty tough one. Missed left, tapped out for par. And I knew I was up by 2 here. Ryan actually did a really good job getting pretty close to the basket. I ended up parking it, though. So I knew at this point that was it. We won the tournament. Super pumped about that. This basket, I have now won 2 2-rounders with this basket. So I don't know. This is a special basket for me. And we had a ton of fun playing this one. All the guys I got to play with, really, really good players. We had a fun card. Ended up winning $126 at the end of this. So that brings my event profits up to $325 and the overall progress to $686. That's 68% of our goal, which is absolutely insane to see. So we don't have a ton left, $314 before I hit my $1,000 mark. I do have some used bin finds as well that I'll be adding into the next episode. So make sure you're subscribed, stay tuned, and start thinking about what we should do with this series once we hit 1,000. Do we keep going, or do we just say, hey, let's go back to that used bin format and show us some highlights for an events? But I want to hear from you guys, and thanks as always for watching.